to T-Rated. Hello, welcome back to T-Rated for conversations on growth, life, and TS. I am, of course, your host, Andy Jaide, and I'm joined today by none other than Nathalie Presley.
Hello.
Are you excited to be here?
I'm really excited. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yay.
So before we get into a couple of things that I want to talk to you about today, I want you to give me a little bit of background information on yourself, where you're from.
I'm from here. I grew up in Atlanta, or like Marietta. So.
An actual Atlanta girl?
Yeah, born and raised. I've traveled a lot, but I just always have lived here. So grew up out in the suburbs. I've lived all around the city, but now I'm back in Smyrna. So
you like Smyrna?
Yeah, it's not too far from the city, like when I want to go out or whatever, but it's nice.
I used to live out there.
Really?
Yeah, for like, not real Smyrna, because I lived where Target is on Cobb Parkway.
Okay.
Like right across from there. So it wasn't like,
yeah.
If anybody's familiar with Atlanta, it's not like it was like Smyrna.
Right.
Tell us some more. Tell us about
what
how old are you? Can I ask how old you are?
How old am I?
Yeah. You want to give us, or whatever age that you tell people you are, what's that age?
I am 34.
Okay. Oh my God, let's not pretend like that's, I'm like close to that age, so let's not pretend. Yeah, I'm 32.
Okay.
So let's not pretend like that's too old.
I mean,
it's old in transsexual years.
Yeah, I guess so. But I don't know, like I started my transition when I was like 24, so it's been
a good hot little minute. Yeah. Were your friends, family, all of that cool with it? Or do you have a good transition story or a bad one?
Mixed. Like, I don't know. I was never really close with my dad, so like I haven't talked to him in years. But my mom and I are super close, so she's really supportive. It's been nice, yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, for sure.
So what is it that you do now in Atlanta?
Well, now I am an adult model. I've modeled for Grooby, and I just recently did a scene for Trans Angels.
How is that going?
It was really exciting. It was a lot of fun.
And how long have you been doing that? Not to cut you off, sorry.
No, it's okay. Probably about 8 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been picking up lately, so I've been really excited about that. Like, I've been doing more scenes. Last year, I did like my first hardcore with Grooby in a while. So I did that and another solo, and then Trans Angels called me back in February. So
how did you initially get in? Because I actually just did a solo episode before this, and one of the questions was like, why are most trans women in the adult industry? So how did you get into it? And what was the deciding factor to pursue?
I mean, I'd been doing some escorting and whatnot when I started my transition. And my best friend is Nathalie Presley, so
we love her.
Yeah.
Shout out to Domino. Hey, girl.
Hi. So she kind of helped me like get ready for my first shoot and everything once I like decided to do it, and it was a lot of fun. It was really good to have her help and like guidance and, you know, to calm my nerves and everything.
I feel like anybody who's getting into that kind of industry, it is good, or just in general, like as a trans woman, it's good to have people who have done stuff, whether it's like transition or just like adult industry wise, having people who are older to kind of show you.
Because you don't know what to expect.
The rope. Yeah. Who was your first thing you ever did professionally with?
It was with Grooby. I shot with Jack Flash. He's down in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
It was just a solo scene, but yeah, he was really professional and easy to work with, and I've enjoyed shooting for him more than just once. So
I feel like that would be like a good way to put your toe in the water too, like with solo, instead of going straight into like you and five guys.
Well, I didn't do a hardcore until probably like 4 years into it, and that was when I did Domino Presley's House of Horrors, when she did the DVD release. And that was when I worked with...
Not a DVD.
Yeah. It was with She-Meatress. We did a BBW threesome, so it was fun.
Okay, then. Yeah. She actually, I was talking to her recently, and she was telling me that I don't think I'm close. I guess I'm not BBW anymore.
You're not?
Yeah,
No,
that's what
I
she
wouldn't
was
say-
saying. I have gotten away from, I guess I came into the industry of that, but I have gotten away from it. So throughout the years, what has been kind of some of the ups about being in the industry and downs?
Throughout like the all
whole
the
8 years, yeah.
I haven't had that many downs. I've had a lot of like good support from like fans and people who've like enjoyed my work. It wasn't until like
You don't got some like bad, juicy story of like some crazy person you worked with that was just unhinged?
no, not really.
No?
No, all the producers I've worked for have been like really professional and a lot of fun and like helped
Well, I
calm
mean,
my
that's
nerves.
good.
And
That's good, though.
Thankfully, Grooby doesn't have crazy people working for them. So, yeah. It's been a
Well, I
good
guess I'm
experience
happy to hear
overall.
that, though, that people haven't been like crazy.
No.
I guess you just from like, because I've done professional level in relation to the visual aspect of it, but not in relation to like working
Right.
inside of like the adult industry. Like everything that I've done so far has all been like
Okay.
created,
Yeah.
basically. So you just, I guess, always have.
I've always worked for Grooby, and then like I have my OnlyFans that I do myself. I've been trying to like learn self creation and all that, but I don't think I'm near like your level of on all that yet. But hopefully I'll get there soon.
I did not get there myself.
No.
I have wonderful people that I work with that have made that possible, which I'm thankful for. I guess you just hear sometimes that it can't be. And I think when Nicole Corsica, but like when she was on here, she hasn't had as good experiences doing like working in the adult side of the industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess, a lot of girls have different experiences, so I don't know if it helps like
They do.
having like knowing the people that I knew when I got into it, or
Yeah.
I can probably that was probably an advantage, but yeah, I hate to hear that for some it's not as good.
Good. Yeah, because most of mine, I don't think I've had a lot of throughout my entire adult career, whether that be like in-person stuff or like OnlyFans or producing content and working with like collabs and people like that. I haven't had any kind of super crazy interactions. Maybe when I used to dance.
Oh, really?
But
where did you dance at?
I danced in Atlanta at a little thing called Hush Night for a cute maybe 8 months, if that I was like consistently actually doing it. Outside of that, it would be like popping there every now and then. It just, it wasn't my kind of environment.
Yeah.
I'm not.
When I started my transition, there was like, they were trying to get like a trans night out up and going like back then. And it was set up kind of like a strip club type thing. It wasn't really I don't know. I didn't feel like it was my strong point. So like,
I think, where did they have it at?
it used to be, it was like in the back, you know where like Red Chair used to be? And Amsterdam, the club, like over on Monroe. And
yes. Okay. Yeah.
it was like back there, that club that was like closed for a long time. And then it's reopened as like a few different things now, but yeah.
When I danced, I think part of it was like the location that it was at, because it was at Teoco Valentino, which is kind of like known for a lot of other things too. So just the location itself doesn't lean towards the idea of like dancers or strippers just dancing or stripping.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. Because I was like, if I'm gonna be a dancer, I'm a dance. Why are we doing all this other thing?
I've heard a lot of interesting things about Tokyo Valentino.
Like what?
I don't know, just about the video booths and whatnot.
They got rid of those.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, the video booth is where the things used to happen. A lot of things. They still have, I think, dark rooms up there, but they got rid of, like they remodeled the whole bottom floor of it. So it looks a lot different than what it used to.
An upgrade, so to speak.
So you said you recently did.
I recently did Trans Angels.
Yeah. How was that?
It was fun. It was different because it's their scenes are very scripted and like you have to learn your lines and do a whole like setup for the scene itself. And so
they don't let you just wing it. I don't know why I thought not that it would be winged it, but I don't know why I thought that they would be outside of like the intro part.
Yeah. Well, the intro part's longer than you think, I guess. So
Okay.
like,
how long was the intro for?
it was probably like, because we had to do like 3 different scenes. One where I'm like meeting my scene partner, who was like my stepson.
Come on, stepson.
Yeah. So like I'm like cleaning house, and then I meet him because he comes in from wherever. And then like he goes back to the room, and I like catch him jacking off. And then I had to like play with this sock that he came in and in front of the laundry room. It was like this whole thing where I had to like peer into the washer and dryer and like
So it was a lot of setup.
Yeah.
But that's like, so did y'all get to a point though where it was like y'all together?
Yeah.
Okay. So
and then we kind of like,
so y'all can go look, they can look this up on
transangels.com.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah. So he like did his business first.
Right. And then I like called him or whatever. And I don't know, it's probably like maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, the whole setup for the scene itself. But yeah.
Okay. But that makes sense because I had done one of mine that was like a Candyman. I did a Candyman one for Halloween last year. And I did not realize that is doing intro stuff in several different segments takes a lot longer than what you think it did.
And especially because like if you're like having to dress and undress for each like different scene, it really took all day. But it was a lot of fun.
How long is all day?
I think we started at like 10 a.m. and I left around 6 or 7 p.m. Yeah.
So it really is work. When they say sex work is work, it's really...
And I was in heels all day, so like my feet were done.
Oh, God. Oh, thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Good. How was the feedback with that?
For the most part, it's been really positive. But I mean, there were some people on Instagram that were like not so nice, but it's to be expected. I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like a trans woman existing in general on the internet.
Yeah. Plus, like, I guess, I don't know, some of the Trans Angels fans, they seem to be a little bit more picky, but I don't know. I was so happy with what I put out. And for the most part, everybody else was too. I mean, I gained more followers in like the span of 2 days than I'd had for the last year or so. Like,
oh, we love that though. We love good little promotion.
2 or 3 bad comments and like 3,000 more followers. So I think I'm okay.
Yeah, absolutely. How are they negative towards you?
I mean, someone were like, ew, she's overweight. We don't want to see that. And like stuff like that.
Are they known for catering more to?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I was the first,
girls?
but one of the first like BBW scenes they've had on there. So I felt really proud of it. I was really excited that they chose me, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
Congratulations.
So thank you.
So the other night, me and him had went to dinner, and I was walking in front of him because I was mad, so I was not walking beside him. So I had walked past these group of people, and the way stuff was like worded when he was telling me about it made it seem like somebody in the group had said a compliment. And because the girl responded and was like, girl, you must be trying to be funny because that's a man. And so I was like, it made it seem like somebody made a compliment and then somebody was like, bitch, you can't really mean that because that's a dude, right? But the thing was, they said it once I got past them.
Yeah.
So it was never, and he was mad because he walked by at the same time they were saying it.
Okay.
And so even in that context, I'm like, because the internet will sit there and try to pretend like everybody just shitting on trans people all the fucking time. But I'm like, even in that context, bitch clocked it. But it's like, girl, you didn't say that shit to me.
Yeah. No.
Y'all ain't that fucking stupid.
Yeah. I've never, like, honestly, for the most part, I've rarely had people, like, be outwardly rude to my face, Sure, I've, like, walked by people and, like, can hear them whispering or whatever sometimes, but, like...
But I think sometimes it's, like, trans women, we compartmentalize stuff.
They could be talking about anything and we just assume it's us.
Good old trauma. Like, bitch, you laughing at a joke, but I think it's about me.
Right, oh, totally.
So back to our actual conversation we were having. No, we were talking about people being shit online. Well, you said, though, you had good experiences working with Grooby. So it wasn't like, having negative or like fat phobia type comments weren't something that you usually ran into?
But also with Grooby, like I'm on the BBW site.
Okay.
I'm not like, well, I don't know if I'm on the Grooby Girls site, like their main site as well, but I know I'm one of the main models on, what is it? tgirlbbw.com. So like, you know, for that, like it's obviously like
that's what you're coming there for.
That's what you're going to see. Yeah. So Trans Angels branching out, you know, I guess some of their followers weren't so happy, but I don't really care.
Cause that's like, yeah. Cause when you think of like Trans Angels, you think of like, just trans
I mean, a lot
general,
of
trans female women's.
I guess, you know, a lot of the companies are trying to be more body positive. Like, I mean, there is a market for BBW porn. As much as some people say they don't want to see it, there's a lot of people that do. So,
because that makes me think of, did you see that girl recently? She had went on a podcast and she was BBW girl, and she made the comment of how basically she was saying sexually she's never had an issue having whatever kind of man that she wants. Well, she was also a trans girl. Did you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, she was a trans girl. But
what you're saying is true.
I don't know her name. Yeah, and like people, she was like sexually she can get whoever she wants, maybe just not relationship wise.
Right.
That can be a little bit trickier because I don't know if she went on to relate it to the fact that like, you know, sometimes as trans women we can sexually get whatever the fuck we want to and fuck like all these kind of crazy high level people, but that doesn't mean they will be in a relationship with us. And so it's talking about like the sexualization of herself as being a plus size woman. And basically the whole internet was like, trying to be like, bitch, you lying. But as I was watching that, I'm like, no, not really. Because I feel like when it comes to cis women, sometimes who are bigger sized, they can understand the dynamic that trans women go through and relate on that level. Because it's like, we understand that if you're a bigger girl, men still, they may not want to go out, take you out somewhere or have their homeboys know. But when it comes to stuff like pornography, or
they
just
like it.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I had a roommate that was a cisgender girl, and she was BBW too, but she could like all the trades she wanted, but like
not the trade.
I wouldn't say they didn't want to date her because she was bigger. I don't. She just her dating wasn't so successful, but I mean neither was mine, so it's not like I'm shading her for it. But I never thought that like my problems with dating were because of my size. I felt it was because of being trans, you know, like the men who are like afraid to be seen or whatever. I never felt it was about my size really, than as much as being trans.
Because she was a trans girl too, and she, I guess, the way she viewed it, I guess it was partially both to like a certain extent, but maybe the conversation was around more her size, but she was trying to be like, baby, the size ain't never been it. Like, the size not gonna keep nobody from fucking nothing.
Right. No, it's true.
No, because I very much, in relation back to what you were saying, because even when, like I said earlier, and I got told I'm not like big anymore. So, but at basically the beginning part of when I started doing like all my professional stuff like that was, because I was like 265 when I started making like all of my independent, like bigger movies, or around like 250. So it's not like I was petite by any means then, and I was still, the checks didn't stop. If anything, I have to worry about the checks stopping now because I'm not exactly the same size I was that people fell in love with.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight. Like I don't want to be like tiny or anything, and I probably never will be because I just never have been. But just for my health and stuff, I want to lose a little bit of weight.
But you think, I understand that because I was part of, I think everybody on the internet, because partially because yes, I am a little vain, but then partially because people just think like women in general and trans women always do stuff for like vanity purposes, have told me that I need to like gain my weight back or I looked better before. But part of my reason behind losing weight though was like just like the health side of it. Yeah. Just because I was like,
especially like as you get older.
Yeah, when you start getting older. Like I just retained, I don't know if it was from like surgeries and stuff too, probably, but I just would like had a lot of like inflammation stuff, like in my legs and stuff.
I get that too, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was the main. I wouldn't say the main reason, but one of the driving reasons. And my doctor was kind of like,
Right.
This you need
that's
to.
exactly what I've been getting. So
You need to calm this shit down a little bit, girl. I know you want to be thick, but it's interesting too, though, to watch like porn get into the body positivity movement now. Only because I feel like in some ways, when it comes to body shapes and sizes, porn can be a little bit more inclusive in general.
True.
Than what we see mainstream media be. Just
right.
because.
No, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it was just that company, or there's just like specific companies that are trying to be more inclusive that haven't been?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the more mainstream studios, because like Trans Angels is associated with Brazzers, and I think even Brazzers is doing BBW scenes now. So I think it's a good move. It's a step in the right direction to be more inclusive. So,
do you think? I don't know if this is like to checking your pockets or not. Do you think there's going to be an issue of them like underpaying certain girls, or
I don't
compared to like?
I mean, I don't know what like some of the girls that film for them more regularly and who are more established with their studio might probably get paid, but I thought I was paid well, so.
Okay, we love to hear it.
Yeah.
We love a nice little check.
Definitely.
So speaking of social topics.
Yes.
Let's get into one that is near and dear to both of our hearts.
What's that?
Do you think, because me and you have talked about this slightly outside of this, do you think that trans Republicans are valid people? Do you think they're good representation for the community? Do you think Blair White is right when she says she's the only reason people like trans people in general now because of the basically being a good one?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I think she's pandering to a community that doesn't actively really care about her in any way.
So you think she should grow her beard out? And that's the best thing that she can do? I'm not saying that she should.
If she's really doing it for them, then probably, yeah.
What do you think sometimes, do you think they ever have good points on some topics?
I mean, I rarely agree with the Republicans in general, especially not the trans ones. But I'm not going to say that anybody's invalid. I just think they're misguided. And some are a little bit overzealous in their guidance. I feel like sometimes they just want to be contrarian to like what anybody else is saying, even if what they're saying doesn't make sense. If they're contradicting you, that's what their goal is. And it's
just to not sound like to not sound like the rest of us.
Right. And it's to like, I feel like it's to like to get us like worked up and then like make us look bad by like saying we're like the crazy ones or something, just because they got a reaction out of us.
I feel like sometimes it comes from not even, I think some of them definitely do it for like the grift aspect and like the contrarian aspect, and to be special compared to all the other crazy left liberal trannies. But I think part of it too comes from socialization.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of times when you see it, it's always white trans women usually who they haven't let go of their, not that you can let go of like white privilege, but they have not let go of like their white male
socialization
privilege. Like especially if they weren't super feminine growing up to begin with anyway.
No, I agree.
They haven't quite let that go. I do think sometimes at face value, some of their points can sound good.
They can.
Like
at face value.
At face value. It sounds great.
But I think an implementation of some of their ideas would be a hindrance to us overall.
Like what? Give me an example. Give me an example of something that a right-winged transsexual has said?
I think the whole like trans healthcare, especially when it comes to kids, I think they're misinformed on a lot of that. Like the whole point about keeping kids from like mutilating their bodies and whatnot. Like kids aren't having surgeries done. They're like, what they're being prescribed is totally reversible if they decide they don't want to like continue transition when they're adults. Like they're just being prescribed puberty blockers.
I hate the term mutilation.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So fucking bad. Because
and it's just untrue.
Because you could literally call anything that you do surgical wise mutilation.
For sure.
And especially in the context of like once you start talking about trans people who, if they do start having surgeries, if they start doing stuff like breast augmentation or stuff like that at like the age of like 17, because people will still be like, well, that's not 18. But you start getting into the murky water of the fact that like there's 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds all the time who get like nose jobs or boob jobs because their parents sign off for it. And you can't necessarily say parents can't consent because they're trans, but can consent because
they just want one.
They just want.
Yeah.
You have a 17-year-old, they just want boobs or a new nose. Yeah. I think that's where they put a
way
lot.
Off base, yeah.
Yeah. Especially for the girls who, if anything, people who are, not to continuously use her as a reference, but like Blair White, she transitioned later in life. Or like once she was over 18.
Right.
And so when you have that kind of perspective, not that I still understand it, but I can like listen to you a little bit more if you're not like the other person that we had seen recently who came out and was talking about it. But she actually did transition when she was younger.
Yeah.
But now the Republicans are still calling her man, which like shocker.
They're always going to.
Yeah. I mean, they're still calling her man. And so now she doesn't side with them so much anymore. She's trying to come out with an apology. Which is shocking. Like, well, I mean, if you think about it, and you're like, Republicans always will. I mean, if you think about it in regards to like progress, like probably 200, 300 years from now, Republicans will see us as women, but Democrats will be like even more progressive than what they are currently.
Yeah.
Like stuff just always changes. We don't ever stay like in the same bubble or place.
It's always evolving.
Is there any like specific trans Republican you wanted to call out you had an issue? Do you have any tea? You don't have to say any kind of names. Do you have like any Atlanta trans tea?
No, not really.
No?
I don't think, like about Republicans?
No, just in general.
Oh. No.
The people want transsexual tea.
I know they do. I'll have to do better about that.
And I feel like you probably know more people than I do.
I don't know, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess like I know like the whole drag scene, but that's not really. I don't know any tea about them.
No. Whose hair is real? Who got a nose job and tried to lie and say they didn't?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Nothing?
No.
Oh my God.
Not that I'm aware of.
Are the transsexuals?
I'm totally drawing a blank now.
Are the transsexuals moving forward as a society?
Maybe so.
Maybe.
Hopefully, yeah.
You have any chasers you wanted to call out that pissed you off recently? People are going to be like, you're messy. And I'm like, I don't want totally. Like, don't say people's names.
I mean, I don't have anybody in particular, but, the guys that like to like set up appointments with you and then like ghost are kind of annoying.
That's why you always take deposits.
Yeah.
For everything.
I started to.
When I got into it, that was something that one of my girlfriends had said to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of girls do, just like on a if you're going to see them type of basis. Mm-hmm. If you in the industry, you know what the fuck that's called.
Right.
And like in that kind of context, but I was always somebody, people would tell me I was a scam all the fucking time because they'd be like, nobody does that if I'm coming to see you. And I'd be like, well, I do. Because I just like that too for like, not even the time waste aspect. This is like your older transsexual cousin telling you something. Ladies who are younger girls who are listening.
Well, it's a form of screening.
Listen, yeah, it's screening because then there's a paper trail because they had to send you that money from somewhere.
Right.
So you can't, if some shit go crazy, just don't take just once they arrive and give you your present. Don't do that in cash.
Right.
Because just reasons, girl. And people will try to actually had to get crazy with somebody, not get crazy, like physically or anything like that. Like, because this was after the fact, but they had not gave me my present in cash. Oh, no. I had let them, I was like, whatever, and they tried to like do a reverse charge thing on that. And I was like, babe, we're not going to do this. Because the way my Google FBI is set up, we're not doing all that.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, yeah, there's your work wisely.
Working tips for the working girls.
Do you have any working tips for the working girls, for girls who want to get into the doll industry? Raw is law?
No, definitely not. Always be safe. Establish your boundaries for yourself and don't let anybody cross them.
I like that.
Be firm. Because you know what you will accept and you know what you're willing to do. And if you're not going to, just be firm in saying no. Stand up for yourself and respect yourself and know your worth. Don't be cheap.
Don't be cheap. There's anything.
Love yourself.
That you cannot be.
Right.
Don't let it be cheap.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Okay. Wait, hold on. I want you, before we leave and I do a whole outro, I want you to plug. We already heard where they can go find your newest film. Oh, yes. But I want you to also go ahead and plug all your social media. And of course, everything for you will be linked like in the episode too. Okay. But
so my Instagram is Nathalie Presley, NathaliePresley. That's also my Snapchat, and my Twitter is @NPresleyTS, and my OnlyFans is also Nathalie Presley. So catch me there.
Yes, please go follow her.
Thank you.
Support her. We love that. And again, thank you. Make sure y'all are, of course, following T-Rated everywhere on social media. And I will see you all in our next episode. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.